Hey guys, Dantix here, back with another XCOM Chimera Squad video. Did you know you can play the entire game without killing a single enemy? Yes, you can be a benevolent good guy or a calculated number cruncher, because even if you're not a tree-hugging pacifist, there are some reward-related benefits to playing this way. It's fairly simple to do relative to the difficulty setting, so in this video I'm going to run through what characters you should pick, what items you need, tips and tricks, and how you'll go about pulling this achievement off. Let's start with this. You'll be getting through each mission by rendering your enemies unconscious, so in that way you won't be a complete pacifist because you'll be using your fists, but unconscious is better than dead, no matter how you felt at 16. By knocking your enemies out, there's a chance to gather intel at the end of the mission. The higher the amount of still alive enemies, the more you can interrogate, and therefore the higher chance to get intel. At 5 unconscious, you are guaranteed that intel, so you'll always be getting it in the run. Let me tell you, intel is the most valuable resource you have, especially on higher difficulties. To start, pick any difficulty setting, but turn off tutorials. Going through the tutorial forces you to kill, sadly, but most importantly, it doesn't let you choose your starting team. Some team members simply aren't good for this kind of run, so let's go through them now. If you played the game already, you'll know that Verge unlocks his ability Leash fairly early on, making all that he psionically influences unconscious should they receive lethal damage from any source. So that sounds great, doesn't it? Wrong. It's easier to equip trank rounds for those takedowns. Plus, Verge's ability Battle Madness causes enemies to attack each other. Those kills would be lethal if the one being shot at isn't leashed. He's also quite squishy because of that ability. Okay, option, but pass. Claymore focuses around blowing up enemies and is therefore a terrible choice for this kind of playthrough, unless a quick explosive death is a more merciful death in your eyes. Blue Blood is going to be your star in this run. Equipped with trank rounds, he will be your primary way of targeting enemies down and knocking them out at range. He can take 2 shots a turn because of Deadeye, and will not only eventually do the highest damage on your team, he will be able to trank whole squads in a single turn. Selecting. Terminal is next, and I recommend picking her up as a way to keep your team alive, especially your frontliners like Godmother and Zephyr. Later on, she'll be able to provide extra action points to a member on her team with her ability, and this is extremely valuable for both Zephyr and Blue Blood, who can more than take out an enemy with that extra point. Cherub is next, and he's one you can sub out for Terminal, if he's more your playstyle. Instead of healing, he can provide shields. He lacks the range stabilized, but makes up for it with his shield bash. However, you may feel the lack of extra action point ability without Terminal. If you prefer a tank, go Cherub. Shelter's a great character and combos particularly well with Zephyr and Godmother, as he's able to swap enemies next to them and trigger both the Overwatch-like effects. If you want to forgo the defense, which is okay in lower difficulties, and trade it for the battlefield control and delaying enemy turns, swap Terminal out for Shelter. Patchwork is next, and she's a great character, able to take over enemy androids. However, in this run, her strength, her electric-based attacks, will hinder you, not help. Everyone's favourite snack girl, Talk, unfortunately has nothing non-lethal about her. She's a bloody snack. She's about crushing the souls out of her enemies and poisoning them to death. Yeah, she doesn't work in this run. Godmother is up next, and she's going to be your mobile single target flanker, able to sprint and fire most turns later on, and is guaranteed to hit for the expensive ammo. Put her on your team. Zephyr is going on your team as well. Right now, she's probably the strongest character in the game. I figure they overpowered her a bit because she's not able to equip weapons. Therefore, she can't get the epic weapon bonus skills. However, you won't need them. Early on, she'll get access to Pressure Point, which means her powerful melee attacks are all non-lethal. Late game, she'll be hitting all targets in a large area and dealing massive damage with status effects, all the while being super mobile and blocking damage. Get her. Last is Axiom, and he'll simply crush your enemy's bones and organs, which, if you've extensively studied human anatomy, is often lethal. Even worse, if he's shot at, he has a chance of going berserk, and that will attack enemies around him, so you can't even use him as a meat shield that hits enemies with Subdue. So after you picked your team of 4, pick either the Progeny or Grey Phoenix as your enemies. The reason being is Sacred Coil have a lot of robotic targets who explode on you, and it's easier to take them out later with a ranked up team. Save Sacred Coil until last. Here comes the most important part. You start with 150 credits. You're going to spend all of those in the supply right now for 3 trank rounds. Immediately go to the armory and equip Blue Blood with the breaching charge and the trank rounds. Breaching on our man BB is good because you want him taking his actions first. Equip trank rounds on Godmother and Terminal, or Cherub and Shelter depending on who you picked. Zephyr is going to be left out of this. Until she ranks up twice and gets access to Pressure Point, you have to be very careful with her because she just wants to kill things. During a breach, you need to set Blue Blood to take his action first, then second for Godmother, then third for Terminal or other, and finally Zephyr last. It will be her last until she gets her ability, then second after that point. The other 3 squad mates should focus on taking out as many targets as they can during the breach. Save the target with over 4 health for Zephyr. Do not use Fearless Advance if you think it will kill that target. Instead, use Cover Rush. Use your other 3 characters as normal beyond this point. Deadeye first with Blue Blood, then follow up with either a Deadeye again or a regular attack, depending on if damage or accuracy is more important. Get Godmother shotgunning helpless enemies into Dreamland, Terminal healing and providing assault rifle support, and finally, Zephyr. Have her moving around and subduing targets. Do not let her use her regular melee unless you're sure it won't kill. Once you have Pressure Point and you're good to go, the run can begin with less stress. The first research projects you should focus on are upgrading your armor for the slots and weapons for the damage and the slots. Get as much intel as you can and save at least 130 for the scavenger market, which will provide you the best gear. From my experience, epic weapons are never more than 130. When you have the ability to unlock another character, pick one of the 3 that I recommended, only swapping them in when you need to heal scars off your team. Remember to unequip trank rounds and equip it to the agent going on the mission. Some more tips. Remember, never shoot explosives. Even though that sounds like common sense, they will be lethal. If you want to keep civilians safe too, avoid shooting cars as they will explode. If a car is on fire, be sure to knock out any enemies near it so they don't die. And there you have it, how to finish the game without killing a single enemy. At the end of the game, you'll be offered a stat screen commemorating your achievement with 0 kills. You should be proud. You've officially filled City 31's jails to capacity, and no doubt someone will be let out seeking revenge and causing far more deaths than if you just killed them in the first place. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video, be sure to drop a like. Drop it one. And let me know what you think below. I'll be back with more RPG related content soon. Thanks, guys.